Invoker. Well, we have 2 Dandy Classics on the field now, by the way. NoTechies picking Dandy Pudge into Dandy.
Yeah, we're
For
picking
the
Dandy
added
into bait.
Templar Assassin.
TA, okay. Safe lane TA stuff coming up, maybe? Because this is a Eastern European special. We have been playing TA and POS 1 role. We've seen the Viper
Yeah.
POS 5s as well, so I
Only
think this
10
might just be a safe
seconds.
lane TA.
I have myself not seen 19
seconds.
Dame
Hurry,
on
hurry.
the safe lane yet. I do think he plays it sometimes. I also do think that Lame switches over to mid sometimes. I know he's played it in pubs. But I think they'd only really do that if they think the laning matchup is not good enough. And right here, they've got themselves an Invoker. The TA is going to do just fine.
Yeah, I mean, the lineup is looking pretty decent here. Starting to think about the lanes as well. You've got Lion and TA could fit pretty well. I think Grim and TA could also suitably work well. But I would like to see the Grim with the Pudge, just because of if Pudge is 3, you have the Enchantress up against you. Grim is probably a bit better in trading with the Ench than the Lion is. Maybe Lion is useful with the crack control and all those jungle creeps that the Enchantress is going to be dragging along in the lane. Plus the mana drain to keep their mana pools low as well, so they can use their special abilities. Could also be one thing to look at. Though Bait hasn't really revealed their safe laner pick here, unless they're going like, let's play Mag carry if you're playing Pudge. Because Mag's decent against Pudge in the lane, but I don't think they're going to play a Mag carry. They're still saving that last pick. And that's actually a hero I was going to say might be Bait's carry hero, because it goes nicely with the Empower from the Mag, which is the Juggernaut. So a potential block pick here, with the Jug going safe lane most likely, and TA back into mid for NoTechies. That's just my guess.
It is one of
5 seconds.
one of the favorite picks of Watson as well. Luna, Jug, I believe I had Phantom Lancer in my notes as well. Yeah. And Slark, but I discounted the Slark. There's a slight possibility of them wanting to play that with the Magnus into the Juggernaut, but don't think this would be a bad PL situation whatsoever for Bait if they're really inclined to play to the specialty of their carry player here. Alternatively, TA Juggernaut, you could look to... They don't really have space anymore though. They banned out the Razor themselves, which is very unfortunate. That would have been a great pick.
Yeah, Razor could have worked. But then again, I think this PL pick is also pretty good, especially in the lane. The matchup against a POS 3 Pudge, as it is from Fogus. And in terms of scalability, I think the Juggernaut is going to be alright. But PL is going to break through the TA's shield. Good against the offlaner. Great against the supports line, and Grimstroke have to be super careful against this this Phantom Lancer. So yeah, and then you have the Magnus for some extra farm as well. And it's, you know, I think I really like the way that this this draft unfolded. You got the Juggernaut kind of as a block pick, and then you come in with a really uncontested carry pick here. I think PL is weak maybe early on, but the further this goes, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to kill his Phantom Lancer.
It is, yeah. He's going to have a little bit of trouble with the Lion once he gets the multi-mana drain over on the Shard, of course. But in the end, as far as damage is concerned, there's not too many threats to him. And the enemy offlaner is a Pudge who's going to have to hook and then eat the right Phantom Lancer. That's a pretty big ask.
Well, as we are heading into game number 2, Bait leading the series 1-0. We have the frisky first phase Pudge pick up for NoTechies. I think this is a good moment if you're a NoTechies fan to raise those flippers up in the sky. Root for your team, because this is a potential elimination game. The next loss for NoTechies means out from the International. 14 teams from the Eastern European region competing for one spot only to play in the $40 million tournament, which is quite a lot of money, but there's a lot of great teams in this qualifier. We looked at this entire roster of teams, with the tops being Team Spirit, Na'Vi. We've got AS Monaco Gambit and PogChamp, and then we're starting at the lower bracket half. Team Empire and Fantastic Five, who already got a bye from the first round, and the two series played today: NoTechies versus Bait and Nemiga versus Trident. There's a lot of big names to compete, and the ones dropping from the upper to the lower bracket. Well, if you're lucky, and you make your all the way from this round to the end, you're gonna have to play a lot of Dota in the next 5 days. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. And NoTechies already got forced to drop one of their first pocket picks here with the Pudge.
Mm.
I love that they were so ready to take it. There was no hesitation there. It's not like there's no DK focus sitting behind like guys, just let me play my Pudge, okay? It's like no, they were gonna do this if they ended up with their backs to the wall. They all agreed. They tipped him just now.
Yeah,
They are all in this together.
That's the moment we've seen in True Sights as well, with players calling out, "I want to play this hero," and the captain will say, if he feels like playing it, he should probably play that hero because he wants to do it. He feels it. It's the strong. And I will correct myself a moment ago. I said 5 days. I meant 4 days. So with the 23rd to the 26th are the EEU and SA qualifiers. But the pause has ended, and back to action. We have a Dendi Invoker as well, iconic. I don't think anybody can say... Well, maybe some newer players, if you don't know, Dendi is, well, a pretty known player. You know, he's maybe one of the biggest esports personalities ever, like even outside of the game. How many... I think you can only name, like, maybe... around 10 to 15 Dota players who are actually known like worldwide in like esports as a genre.
Yeah, I think outside of Dota, if you have to like go to a non-Dota person, ask them who like the players are they know about. They might know about Dendi, they might know about Sumail, for example. You might have heard of Arteezy. But Dendi's always going to be up there.
He's always going to be there.
30 seconds
the pedestal can never be taken out. Would like to. I would mean. We remember back in the first first five TIs, it was always like there's no TI without Dendi, and suddenly we're at TI10 and he's playing in the closed qualifier. So all I can say is best of luck. They are up 1 game. For NoTechies though, there's a lot of young talent here on this side. Also hungry. I think I have to highlight. We talked about Exis Vampire in the first game draft about the aggressive style that he plays, the aggressive heroes that he likes to bring out on the field. An absolute treat to watch in most of the games.
And so they rushed.
Yeah, and I think in general both of these teams have a very nice mix of experience and a little bit more new players. I'm myself a really big Solo fan because of, well, the way that VP worked with him, worked around him, made some of his weaknesses into strengths instead, and the maturity that he brought to that team, I think, in terms of decision making. So I'm hoping that he's going to be able to lend some of that energy to his squad right now as they stand with their backs against the wall.
Well, I love this little shift here. The Magnus Enchantress versus Grim and Jug. So this was expected, but maybe a little bit. I was suspecting is Lion going to be pos 5 or 4 in the end, because they can easily play it around the other way. But I guess Lion will be a bit better off here with the Pudge, thanks to the double crowd control that they have with the Hex and the stun, and then Pudge with the hook, so it enables them a lot more.
This Pudge is going to have a pretty decent lane. I was surprised to see actually that he started in the lane but still took neat hook. Maybe it's for this kind of reason, TSA.
Watson gets the slow out, so gets a little bit of extra distance. Salve. I love that TSA is not scared to be in Lion's attack range, and almost Pudge's attack range while popping that salve up.
He
Just the small things. Yeah, like he knows his limits, but it's the small things that really matter, is kind of pushing yourself in the place where it really matters. I think like small individual effort is what makes a big difference.
So this PL here should be kind of decent for the Pudge. Like later on there's going to be quite a lot of harass coming out from the Pudge with that rod. He's going to be hard to bring down. It's going to be an unfun target to try and harass out in general.
Yeah.
But both of them should be doing fine. Fogas very susceptible to ganks from the mid lane though.
Yeah, and also
That's
the
it.
camp control is pretty huge here. We saw the lion and the wyvern both contesting the camps, making sure that at least the easy camp is open, but the hard camp being blocked. Do you think this is more of an advantage for bait?
For bait, hard camp being blocked? Not necessarily. I think that definitely what they would like is the ability to, when the lane goes this far towards the pudge, to be able to side pull here as well. With a small camp, it's especially pretty much impossible to always kill the entire wave. So, since Axis Vampire doesn't expect to ever get to use that pull to his advantage, his side doesn't push the lane, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like this situation, or Watson, it's 2 versus 1. The support is way in the back is an excellent illustration of why it works out just fine.
Very true. Very good point. I'll take that. The distances grow and automatically opens up the lion and the pudge start making some plays, and as they are, Focus pushed out the wave. Excess Vampire's already giving vision out, and Focus trying to get into hook range. But he also wants to preserve some of that mana. Only 1 mana per second regen at the moment on this pudge.
Very far though.
He is.
Yeah.
He's gonna take the safe route and just TP out.
Dinah's courier
Oh.
and its string of
Then he gets a snipe on the mid-courier there.
crimes has been laid to rest.
Oh, well, that's a bit of extra dodge for the team. Always helps. But looking at that, the moment I saw Pudge TPing out, actually come to the realization, where are the stuns on bait? You have 2 BKB piercing stuns, and that's it. It kind of reminds me of Liquid in one of their games where they dominated the enemy, but they had no basic stuns. They just had Beastmaster Roar and Winter's Curse.
Gibberish.
And then they just went to dominate the game. It's like very unconventional to not have like basic stuns.
It's something that I already brought up. Excuse me. That I
it's
already
fine.
brought up in the draft, right? This is what you see with these double heal supports very often. You're not going to have any hard stuns. Like IceFrog, I separated that one out pretty nicely. Dazzle no stuns, Oracle no stuns, Abaddon no stuns. These two no stuns. Because that would give somebody the full kit. And instead I was hoping for more do something cores like that Magnus. And Dendi is going to add a huge amount of teamfight utility, but you are completely right. If NoTechies isn't fully engaged of their own accord, then there is no way that bait, apart from using their ultimates, can actually make them stay in the fight. It's bad for chasing, it's bad for skirmishing.
Demised.
Mid is still very tight, both 18 CS and Dendi and Dame. Dendi obviously taking a lot of hits from the side blades, but they're also Quaswex, so you do regenerate pretty quickly, allowing this Invoker to stay in this lane. If you did end up going Exort, well, good luck. You probably would be burning a lot of salves and hoping to get that Midas timing in time, so it probably wouldn't be the best option when you're up against a tempo lineup on NoTechies.
Yep, and in general you have a PL, you're going to be slow even though you have a Magnus on your team. It is what it is. The PL does not deal any damage and does not have any survivability before he gets up to, let's say, at least 3 items. We don't see a lot of 3 items item carries these days. Even the PA's timings now, people are just
Jog.
rushing.
Playing
isolated
aggressive with the
defense.
spin, does have the Inkswell, but he's cutting the wrong key down almost, and No Fear finds himself first blood. Meanwhile, Focus kills off Watson, so both carries end up dying on both sides of the map. No Fear just got that one important okay, Solo gets that last hit in 60 gold for him, but the last impetus spear to connect, make sure that they get the kill. Pretty aggressive play there from the Jug. I feel like he wanted to commit with the spin and the Inkswell, but the Inkswell came off a bit too late. I guess the distance was too big to cast. Like, that cast range is not very big.
Cast range is so short.
Yeah.
Yes, you really gotta give each other a firm handshake before you can really put that on.
Yep.
And unfortunately for both carries here as well, you can't really retreat into the jungle yet. PL would really like to have the juxtapose before he does that. Eyes on top.
Yep.
Solo goes down.
Trying again, same play as yesterday. There's a lot of damage onto this Magnus, but not quite enough for a kill. That bottle providing a lot of extras, and Lame is really hating No Fear. Just 2 impetus spears and he's already down to 50%.
He's really going to have to get the most out of this healing ward in order to stay in this lane. And this is a problem, because normally the way to deal with the Magnus is actually to make sure that he needs to recover. He's not that strong of a laner. But with No Fear here, on one of his absolute specialty heroes, This Magnus does not need any recovery whatsoever.
Got a Hadouken creep with the Satyr, bringing some HP regen as well, allowing them to be a tiny bit more aggressive again. Magnus has also brought up his mana boots, so they can maybe try and make some plays here, maybe force the Juggernaut out. Jug has no way of killing this mag alone. With Spin and Omni Slash, it's not going to be enough against the mag with a Bracer, and it's already down to 100 HP, just retreating behind his tower. Spells how grim this lane is.
Yeah. Well, Solo's a good support. He brought a salve for his carry. And then he can spend that on another 4 or so impetus shots, and then he's got another healing ward. Ooh, he's spending it now.
Spending a lot of those, plus the double mango as well to keep up with those. So he's it's all about sustaining. You're technically staying in the lane by taking all those hits, not really dealing any hits on your enemy, but kind of out-sustaining at the cost of gold, obviously, buying more consumables. So you're starting to think, is this like 50-50, or is this even worse than that, because we're kind of spending all of our gold on that. That's the support's job, to kind of take the bullet for the carry and then know how big that is to get that XP.
Body blocks the big camp. NoFear spent 2 sentries up here making sure that he could get creeps, but, well, he's gonna take half health damage for it again, but at least there's no new creep to hunt him down.
And I say that, next one.
Creep. The old one's still here.
Yeah, he comes back to the camp and is like, oh, okay, we're going in. But, however, Wyvern in trouble, 60 HP, and the turnaround, Dendi comes in, and that EMP should seal the deal. Almost does right-click into the end. And a pick off on Fulgus. TSA lives. However, Excess Vampire on the hunt.
I'm sorry, I think it's NoFear who's on the hunt. He just got himself a Wild Wing Ripper. Lame is trying to retreat, and he keeps on taking hits.
Yeah, it's like Lion, both Solo and Excess Vampire come to the rescue.
Wait up.
And Solo might be in trouble. There's no mana on this Enchantress though, so only can afford 1 spear. She does get some fresh wards down. I mean, at least off the courier. Let's see if gonna place them down anywhere, maybe on the cliff. Yep, that's a fresh Hobbs ward right there. Nice.
This entire jungle is NoFear's.
It's like, and I put the aggressive ward down. I was like, hey, I can just soak some XP off of this jug here.
Run him down with the centaur. I don't even want to watch the rest of the game, man. I just want to know how Lame is gonna solve this deer problem that he has.
Tried to get a spear to steal the last hit as well from Lame. And now Watson comes in. They easily break through the TA shield. Winter's Curse is out, half HP. Lame is right there with the healing ward. It actually, the high ground miss from the Winter Wyvern, but now TA in big trouble. They do have the damage for it. It's slow work, but it's honest work. Meanwhile, Excess Vampire coming in with Solo. Inkswell did only a minimal stun on the Wyvern, and he lives. EL also takes a bit of damage from the spin. Here comes Dendi as well, and Solo. Well, they're going to take down Excess Vampire with a lance, and Solo almost looking to go down. He will. 6-1. Are they going to get more? Fulgus comes in. Where's your mana, Pudge? Nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere to be seen. And this is all down to the way that Enchantress directed this game. She took over the top lane, then she runs that Juggernaut into his own jungle, gets the right angle onto the engagement. Like, the PA is trying to get attention.
Yep.
What happened? Or...
No, that was just...
I thought
that's alright.
All
good, all good.
Oh, did I miss something? Oh god, what are they up to now?
They're probably up to something which I don't know about. Looking at the net worth chart, though, pretty even across the board. And we have the Enchantress plus added on top, which is 31 last hits, 3 kills, 2 assists. Dendi has found a Solo roaming around this top lane. Getting some quick pickoffs here. This is really what your Quaswex Invoker wants to live off. Easy, fast pickoffs on supports and get your game rolling from there.
And what I'd really love is Bait find a way to save this bottom tower right now. Because as long as the bottom tower is up, Dame as well as Lane have to play in the triangle. Both of them. Because the top jungle is off limits. And as long as the bottom tower is up, Bottom jungle is off limits as well. Yeah, there they go. Winter Wife is coming in. Magnus is
Bottom
flanking.
tower is being
You
attacked.
see the
They know
scan
they have
though.
this game in the back.
Wyvern's also being blocked in the trees, but they also do not know if bot lane is off limits. There's a limitless. That is Magnus. He misses
Oh
the
no!
skewer on the pudge, so there goes the opportunity for the pick off. They're gonna walk out. Instant TP back to mid to defend the tower so that TA doesn't take this one. They're doing a good job of halting this this TA from taking the mid tower away. Also being able to protect the bot tower at the same time. You've got your cores actively roaming around the lanes instead of roaming around the jungle. Thanks to
Look at these three heroes all
Dendy.
sitting bot. Yeah. It's always his time, and Lame is taking hit after hit from No Fear again. He needs this bottom tower to go down. But there's a Winter Wyvern sitting here. She's nuking down the waves. She's so hard to catch. You're going to have to dive her, and when you do that, all of the TPs on bait drop are going to react.
Radiant's bottom tower under fire.
Yeah, it's just such great reading from bait as they can only use a pause 4 to bully the enemy's carry completely. Wyvern dodging one hook, doesn't dodge the hook though. At least it's done, but that will be the end of the tail for this little birdie. However,
Dendy got
Invoker
silenced.
getting silenced up, and Dendy got his tornado and his EMP, but he's got 4 heroes around him. He's not looking too healthy. There goes your tower. Big play from NoTechies. They needed a little glimpse of hope.
Dire's top
Things
tower
haven't really been going their way, but they get a kill, they get 2 kills, and a tower.
Dendy falling a little bit behind now because he has been running around so much. And that hook right there is exactly the power of Pudge. You really only need to hit one. You fish that pesky Winter Wyvern from behind the tower,
is being
and
attacked.
immediately you get the opportunity to actually take it. Watson?
Okay, well, I mean, Diffusal Blade PL. You see a support. There's not even time for the cameraman to catch up with that. I wonder who that is.
Dire's bottom tower
Nice
is
hook
under
attempt
siege.
there by Fogus onto No Fear. Not going to catch this one. Jug would have loved to maybe just throw that quick Omni Slash on top just to secure the
Dire's
kill on
top
the
tower is
Enchantress.
being attacked.
Focus gives away his ward there though.
Does, and gonna get bullied by No Fear. 4 points in the spear. Not gonna chase all the way. Just a bit of damage. Assure some dominance.
At the very least, they have finally convinced No Fear to leave their poor Juggernaut alone.
Yep. Jog is okay. He got a magic wand. He's got a Windlace queued up. Not something you see every
Just
day.
efficiency.
Something that I love a lot is if you have a tiny bit of extra gold, you have an inventory slot, buy a consumable, buy something cheap, just fill the slot. Like, don't have empty slots in your inventory.
Windlace, perfect example there as well. As well as that one of your biggest damage dealing spells, the Blade Fury, just requires you to stay on top of heroes, including a
Yep.
very fast Phantom Lancer and a very fast Invoker.
Well, we have a tiny bit of a pause. We've had a couple during this game number 2. Hopefully nothing too big is going down. Maybe also the stress levels are starting to rise, realizing that, hey, this might be the end of the road. And I think no matter what the cause of the pause is, I think this comes for a good spot for NoTechies to get a quick breather and set their game straight, because it's not been going in their favor. They did get that one tower in bottom. They have their TA closing up on a power spike timer. Still
Okay,
needs
that's a killing
several
jump.
minutes to finish off the Deso Blink, but that is basically your go sign.
And she is once again walking up into a jungle that has been completely emptied. Watson and Limitless have set up
Yep.
camp here thanks to the vision from the Enchantress, and there's just nothing to gain here for the Dire. They're going to have to go
Yep.
back to the bottom
And
side of
they
the
have
map
a-
or break through this middle tower.
They have a gank squad coming with Magnus in the trees. Nicely read by Exis Vampire. Preemptively throwing in the stun on the ground because I feel like they knew where the Magnus was.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
And Magnus blinks into the stun. The Earth Spike catching the mag, preventing... If that RP went off, that would have been a whole different story. But a good read from Exis Vampire.
And they get to D-ward now as well. Very important. This is going
Jungle
to be
retaken for now.
big economic advantage.
Blessings.
Those are really big plays that you can do with your supports and your offlaner when you're playing from behind. Is taking piece by piece, but using kind of like over-committing, so to say. Like, you can't go with 2 heroes smoking and trying to harass someone and hope for a kill. You need to go with 3 and really make sure that things are getting done. It's like a four-man at a workplace.
Exactly. You gotta be there in order to make sure the work
Yoink.
is done right.
Look who's coming for dinner. Is there any backup? Dame and Solo need to get the stun off. There we go. Solo will get the kill with the ink swell popping on top. And that
Diving
is,
mid at the same time, though.
Yep, excess vampire, very low, 200 HP, trying to juke around the trees. Has a finger, but not much that you can do with that. Watson right clicks him away. 1 for 1, but it was a killing spree streak that they got from the Inch. They will lose their mid tower.
Excellent trade here for Bait, in my opinion. That Enchantress attracting way more attention. You see, that's the problem with bringing the 4-man along, right? You overcommit resources.
Yeah.
Bait will see and they know that they're safe to take the middle tower. It's always a guessing game. TA, however, is now flying in the Desolator, so Dame is well and fully ready to start dishing out the damage. And this is a power spike that I'm not sure Bait is completely ready for. They do have the Spirit Vessel over on Dendy, so they definitely have some damage of their own.
Yeah.
But if they don't land a good RP, then NoTechies is just going to pick them apart one by one.
Yeah. And this is the big importance here with the Desolator for the TA. You have a Pudge in your team. You don't need a Blink to go in. You have a Pudge to bring them to you, and that's exactly right on the money. Bogus lands the hook. TSA down. And that might just open up for a tower. However, onto the back lines we go. We've got Grimstroke being taken out by Watson. Pushed away by the Magnus. Bogus retreating back. It's a 4v4 scenario again. We have the Juggernaut running out. Excess Vampire clears out the final illusions with the Mana Drain. And they are out. It's a 1 for 1. They won't get a tower for it. But it's a big kill for NoTechies.
Yeah, too dangerous for now. The Winter Wyvern is exactly the kill that they need, but when they can't secure the flanks, they will need to over-engage into that mid tower again, and that Winter Wyvern could buy back, she could respawn, and then you'll still get hit with the Winter Curse, which is unfortunately also very nice when the TA has a Desolator.
I like the Glimmer Cape pickup on Limitless.
Yeah, I've been looking at that as well. It's very utility-based, very much realizing that he's going to scale anyway. Oh, another hook!
The ones that are important are the ones that land, and they find an Enchantress bonus on top. So no focus. He is basically the bouncer at the door. No entry. Enchantress turns around and faces her fate. Really good hooks from Focus. It's this hero is paying off in the way it should.
Yeah, exactly. Big risk, but also big rewards, as you can see here. When the hook lands, there's absolutely no possible counterplay from Bait. There's nothing they can do. Eventually, maybe they'll get a Blink Dagger over on the Winter Wyvern. It opens up some options, but it's still never going to feel good.
Also, the big risk when you're playing up against the Pudge is you're constantly cautious. So if you let down your guard for a moment, it's not like you have your... Well, it depends where you've bound your Blink Dagger on. You can't get that instant reactionary move out of the way.
Smoke up now in the mid lane.
Radiant's bottom tower under fire.
They see Lame. He's very deep in, but they might just look for a full-on team fight, realizing that the Juggernaut...
No, they know he's here.
Ah, yeah, they will go for it. And RP has to be used to cancel the TP. Jug caught. Fate will take this one and instantly go for the advance.
Bait really needs to think about contesting Roach very soon, because that one is 100% on Dame's checklist in order to get this game where he wants it to be. Gonna get yourself the Blink Dagger. There it is. And then you get yourself the Roshan, and then it doesn't matter anymore if the enemy has, let's say, an RP or a Winter's Curse in order to deter you, because you're going to live through that and you're going to come again with all of your damage. So that pickoff, I would have loved to see Bait immediately moving towards the top side of the map, and I think they do know that something's going on, or you can see them positioning, but they are a little bit later than they needed to be.
Well, that's a beautiful Sunstrike. That's right on top of Dane, and he gets the Tornado as well. He does get the Blink away, though, because it doesn't do any damage with the Grimstroke ult. He will connect on the double stun coming out from the Lion, holding both the Magnus and the Winter Wyvern in place. They can't get their ulties off. At least the Winter's Curse is still there. Excess Vampire has lost his life first. Focus, half HP, has a couple stick charges, but Solo, there's no running away from this one. Solo is out for the count. Meanwhile, Limitless chasing on Focus, taking a one-on-one. It's an honest battle without anybody else intervening. And there's the hook. Focus really wants to keep on smacking this Magnus, and then Dendi comes into the rescue. He realizes that this is no longer a fair fight. Meanwhile, Dame is taking down the TSA, as Watson is still chasing onto Dame. They'll take down Focus. Now Lame coming into Watson. The Sunstrike on top of Dame will do a bit of damage, but not going to be enough this time. The Utility Ring, only on the Essence Ring, does a little bit, but it won't keep him alive. And Lame, he's also facing an Excess Vampire. He dies for a second time. That's 6 kills for Bait.
Oh my goodness. He knows that when the Lion is out, when the Pudge is over on the side, there's nothing they can actually stop them from running. Like, he'll just go in. The only thing that NoTechies can really do is deal damage, and the Winter Wyvern died off of a splash attack on Watson. Watson shrugged it off, but the Wyvern was not so lucky. But he gets to run everybody down. That was almost a pub scenario. There's nothing NoTechies could do.
Yep, pretty much. They're just all running out one by one. They have 2 different skirmishes going on. And just not a whole lot of unity. Bait seems like they're winning every engagement, no matter what their numbers are in those fights. And now with the Manta style, Diffusal Blade, Hood of Defiance on this PL. 13,000 net worth, 21 minutes in. Not looking too great for NoTechies.
They're looking for another fight.
Adar smoked up. 4 heroes closing up right behind Bait. They're on the high ground. They have to be careful, though. But they need to land their abilities. Focus. He spots the Invoker. He sees the Magnus. Magnus revealed, but here comes the rest. They realize something is up. They're going to go in. The RP doesn't go through. Magnus 400 HP, but he will die at the hands of Focus. Meanwhile, Dame is getting blown up at the backlines by Watson, and Watson gets that one. Lame on the run now as Watson jumps onto Solo, does a bit of damage onto Focus, and Focus will melt away, and Bait will just run down one by one and take down these heroes. Meanwhile, still chasing onto Lame. If you can still catch this one, would be a great one. But for Bait, they've dealt the damage. They're thinking about Roche, and they might as well just do it.
You can see there that the Dragonlance, great pickup versus the Winter Wyvern, because it means that the TA does not actually get caught in the radius and can still keep on hitting the original target, which was the Magnus. But that does soak up all of her attention, and she stands in the middle of a fight where as soon as Watson has time to go for her, she will die. And that's what the Winter Wyvern bought him. Time to go on her, take all her refraction charges off. Now he's going to have an Aegis. They could barely fight him before. I really like how he's been playing this game. He knows that they have barely any counters.
23 minutes, Aegis for the PL. NoTechies are in a really rough spot now because that was the TA power spike, and TA didn't really do much in that last engagement against Bait. They're all very squishy. They're perfect targets for this Phantom Lancer and the Diffusal Blade, who just packs a real big punch. And now an Aegis up against them.
Yep, and the Heart coming in very soon. And that is where, well, that's the normal timing where PLs would start becoming an actual issue, but this man is already a problem.
Yeah, he's like immortal at that point.
They'll bring in the BKB. They'll get more levels on the Omni Slasher as well. Pudge is working on an Aghanim Scepter to increase his own AoE damage, but right now, as you can see, they're actually working around him. Have you seen DK Focus in the center of the fight at any time?
The last time when they got the Winter's Curse off, that's the only one where he actually did something. He did get the Magnus kill, but I think the minus HP region is because of this this Enchantress and Wyvern. But yeah, he needs to stay alive in there. He's at least a little bit stronger than Excess Vampire when it comes to an Enchantress throwing some spears at your way.
But they're skipping him.
Ooh.
Big hit.
Hurricane Pike Enchantress, okay. If you can afford it, why not? Seems like in this game, Bait can do anything what they want. They're pushing high ground. Some damage on the tier 3 tower. TPs are coming back in. Focus. Doesn't get the hook. Watson is ready. He's prepared for this one. Meanwhile, they find the sidelines. Nice dodge from Dame. Is able to get away from the skewer, but the Winter's Curse will connect on the TA, and the charges are gone. EMP is out, but the hook connects on the Centaur. There's a bloody animal in the way. However, they take down Solo. Dame falling as well. The buybacks are coming in at the same time. They can't take down this Magnus. 1,000 HP still to go. And Bates, they have all 5 heroes up. They used Omni Slash. They used their ultis. They were able to save their TA for a while, but 2 buybacks. Bates are taking a bit of a disengage here. Fake back. Good old fake back. Oh, close one for Limitless. Up the Focus. The Diffusal Blade connected on top of this Pudge. He ain't going anywhere. They're turning this around though. PL might lose his first life, but with the heart and with the casual heal coming in from the Wyvern, they're just doing so much healing that they cannot fight against it. Focus out of play. Lame is gonna go down as well. Sunstrike, oh, not quite on the money. Pretty good attempt. We'll let the Jug walk out, but still, damage is being dealt, and they're not really taking any hits. They still have the Aegis. What do you do?
This PL is absolutely out of control. He refused to sit back and wait for the hard timing. He's been dragging this game back by the neck hairs already. So, yeah, I don't think there's much you can do except hope that Bait misplays.
Yeah, and he's so hard to be contested at all. Like, they can't. They just ran out of firepower. They might be able to kill the Magnus, but once again being saved. Winter's Curse used on the Juggernaut. Cold Snap. Lame is down. I feel like this was the last piece. I mean, Dame's been able to blink out, but GG gets called out, and Bait take a clean 2-0. If the first game was a tight one, the second game was true Bait dominance. 26 minutes, and this series is over.
Very impressed by the assertiveness which Bait plays here. This is what I'd like to see out of a team that wants to climb all the way through these qualifiers. They're playing these heroes to their limits. They're realizing the strengths of their drafts. Like this Magnus is going for support items because he knows that the game is on the PL. The PL is running in with just a Diffusal Blade all the way under the top tier 2 tower of the enemy because he knows that the rest are engaged elsewhere and he is strong right now. They really pushed NoTechies this time. And even though I think NoTechies had some timings, they had the threat of that Pudge, they hit a couple of really good hooks. There was just never going to be any good way for them into this game unless they dominated themselves, and that was just not happening.
The big thing that NoTechies were trying to answer here was the HP regen. Winter Wyvern and Enchantress combined in 26 minutes, 10,700 healing in this short amount of a time. That's all you need is a Holy Locket and a bit of Enchantress added into the mix. And it just became a big issue for NoTechies because of all of this. Especially, I think most of that healing came in from the last pushes, basically, because they weren't losing that much health. And Wyvern was just sustaining their team to stay here, take objectives. But that's what the hero does, basically. It allows you to stay there and keep on taking kills, keep on taking fights, continue to take down and chip down buildings. Even if your enemy is working on a power spike, that does a lot of damage. The TA is an absolute powerhouse. You got the Lion Finger, you have Pudge isolating your heroes, but that's pretty much it, what happens there, and Bait deserved this victory.
Absolutely. Really well played, well executed, got a couple of good angles on these fights, really nice targeting from Watson, and the kill scores say it all, really. 8 for No Fear with that dominating early game, then 14 for Watson, closing it all out.
Well, we're going to take a tiny break. Remember, ladies and gents, we're running on a rolling schedule. So that means instead of having to wait for a bit over an hour, we're going to be live with the next game shortly. I would say about 15-20 minutes or so, or maybe even less. So don't disappear anywhere. We'll be back with the next series, which is going to be Trident versus Mega Gaming. We'll be back with T-Panda and Kips here on the B channel.